That down. Let's move on to this. I have never once looked forward to a Final Destination movie. I liked the last one they did like 11 years ago. I liked that one enough. It was fine. But I've never been a fan of the series. So I didn't really care at Cinacon this year that they were giving us a presentation for the new Final Destination Bloodlines. And it completely turned me around. I left that presentation dying to see this film. It looked so fun. I couldn't believe it. It's the first time I've ever said, my God, I cannot wait to see this movie. Well, it's Final Destination has never been a huge box office thing, but now, according to tracking, the marketing on this film has been so successful. This thing is tracking to be the biggest opening ever for the franchise. The folks over at Variety wrote the following. Final Destination Bloodlines is expected to rule the box office, trouncing fellow newcomer The Weeknd's Ramona Clef thriller Hurry Up Tomorrow, which they also did a presentation for at Cinacon, and I have no interest for. That presentation didn't give me any interest in the film. Love my good Canadian kid The Weeknd, but this movie doesn't look like it. Anyway, and ending the 2-week reign of Marvel's Thunderbolts. Warner Brothers and New Line's R-rated Final Destination Bloodlines is aiming for a $35 to $45 million opening from 2,800 North American debut, an additional bunch of money from overseas, looking for an opening weekend internationally, $70-80 million. Anyway, the last movie that they did for Final Destination ended up only making, I think, $18 million in its opening weekend. This would be 40 to 45. Now, listen, it just so happens that I think a bunch of us are going to go to see Final Destination Bloodlines this afternoon. It's like once this show's over, going to probably have some lunch, relax a bit, and then go see it. So look for my out of the theater review of Final Destination. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm going to see it in a couple of hours. Give you that. But this looks really promising for it. And I don't know if it was listen, this kind of shows why CinemaCon is even more important than CinemaCon thinks it is. Because CinemaCon's primary job is to sell the movies to the movie theater owners. Because the better job, Matt Bellani explained it best on the studio the other day, the CinemaCon thing, where that is the place for studios to sell their movies to the movie theater owners, because the better the presentation you give, the more choice screening times, the more choice screens, the more screens you get. That's got a lot to do with the success of your film. It's not really to market the movies to the general movie-going audience. That's what Comic-Con is for and other things like that. But you do a good enough presentation, you'll get the best of both. And I honestly think that the reason we're seeing this kind of an opening weekend projection for this movie, when none of them have ever done this well, is the buzz that came out of CinemaCon for it. So anyway, Rob, they're projecting a $40 to $45 million opening, which I think is fantastic for it. Still haven't seen it, but I'm dying to see it. Where's your expectation level right now? And how do you think a $40 million thing would do for this on an opening weekend?
Well, I think there's a lot of love for this franchise because it's fun. You know, and while I think it's been 14 years since we got the last one, which was in 3D. And I think that
you're right. It was 14 years ago. I said 11, I think.
I think this franchise is the idea behind it. I think people like it. Just has a fun premise, and the Rube Goldbergian kills and the whole opening sequences. When we saw the scene that we saw that involved a vending machine and an MRI machine, and I'll leave that for you guys to see because
it's one of the greatest sequences I've ever seen.
When they show that at CinemaCon, all of you jaded exhibitors and we were giddy with delight after this. And my friend Dieter Bastian, who I do Let's Get Physical Media with, he saw a preview of it. They screened it in Germany last week, the whole movie in a theater, and he loved it. He said it's got the greatest opening scene of the franchise, and that throughout the movie it delivers the goods.
By the way, just so you know, the Rotten Tomato scores are out. Look at this. 94%.
Wow. Yeah.
For a Final Destination movie, it's rocking a 94% right now.
Well, I think that the filmmakers really knew, and great horror is bankable at the box office. And we've seen a lot of...
To a degree, yeah.
Yeah, to a degree. We've seen a lot of great horror films come out recently that have delivered the goods that people have enjoyed seeing. We've got, I think, August's Weapons, Zach Kreger's new movie is going to be.
So excited about that.
You know, I love Companion. I thought it should have had a much better marketing campaign. I think that movie really delivered. It's now out on VOD. You can get it on Blu-ray. Delightful film. I mean, if you can call it delightful, I just thought it was great. This looks great. And I think that this movie is, I bet it makes even more money than I think this is going to overperform. I think. Because once people start hearing about how much fun it is, I mean, that's what, after what we saw, I mean, I would have, if they told me that it was screening the movie, the entire movie was screening at Caesars that night, after we saw that scene that we saw at Cinacon, I'm like, we got to go. I would have gone right then and there to see the movie. And I think that this movie is going to deliver from what, and the opening scene takes place in Seattle. You got the Space Needle on the poster. You know, the Space Needle does not get enough love in movies, and to see some catastrophic event happen in the Space Needle, kudos to you, Final Destination filmmakers. Seattle needs to be effed up. Well, I can't wait.
To quote Dina from The Last of Us, what the fuck is wrong with Seattle?
And we've got Seattle being destroyed in The Last of Us, post-apocalyptic Seattle, and in Final Destination.
The Ring remake was in Seattle.
The Ring remake was in Seattle.
I totally forgot about that.
That's right. That
Grey's
was good too.
Anatomy happens in Seattle.
I know. But they always shoot everything in Vancouver.
Yeah.
And the Space Needle doesn't look very convincing as the real Space Needle.
Right.
But that's okay.
Guys, we want to take a second to thank the sponsor of today's video, PrizePicks. What a great time to be a sports fan. Basketball playoffs are on. Hockey playoffs are on. It is the perfect time to jump into the action with PrizePicks, the easiest and most fun way to turn your sports knowledge into real winnings. PrizePicks is daily fantasy made really simple. Just pick more or less on a few player projections, like points, assists, goals, and you can win up to 2,000 times your money. For example, this week I've got Jalen Brunson for more than 24.5 points, or Jason Tatum for more than 6.5 rebounds. I love how fast and easy it is to lock in a lineup in just under a minute. Plus, they've got a couple of weekly features, like, for example, Flex Friday. If your lineup doesn't win, you get your net losses back in promo funds. And every Tuesday, check out Taco Tuesday for discounted player projections up to 25% off. So download the app today and use the code Campea to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code Campea to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. Run your game. All right, guys. The question is for you. What do you think about this? This Final Destination film is getting the highest critic ratings I think they've ever got. They're projected to have the highest opening weekend they've ever had. Rob and I have seen about 10 minutes of the movie. And it was one of the funniest, most fun, crazy 10 minutes I've seen on a screen in a while. I cannot wait to watch this. Again, keep your eyes open for a little bit later this afternoon. I will be dropping my out of the theater reaction to it. But are you looking forward to Final Destination? I never have been, but I am now. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.